Welcome to your weekly energy report for whatever this week happens to be. The last week of January. The first week of Aquarius, well, in full in any case. And I have to say, I am very happy to have moved through Capricorn season relatively unscathed, certainly more insightful, perhaps feeling a little bit cynical, a little bit weathered on the inspiration front, personally. And I think that mostly comes from having had to spend so much time experiencing and then contemplating what authority concepts and constrictions and restrictions I am willing to put up with and submit myself to, in terms of what the fallout of that submission creates and manifests in my world. So I did feel a very strong emphasis on the idea of us coming into being our own judges, the understanding that we carry that within ourselves, that we are the only authority that we really answer to, and that stepping into that authority can be scary, it can be challenging, it can be daunting, it can make us feel purposeless or lost, or as if everything is too abstract. But it's also what allows us to grow into less restrictions, less rigid guidelines for our existence, how we evolve, where we're willing to go in our evolutionary process. And that's kind of where we move into Aquarius energy, because Aquarius energy is much more abstract in that way. We have to find ourselves in others, we have to find ourselves in innovative concepts unknown, we have to move into dynamics that are uncomfortable to us, but that we know to be essential to our growth. It's an integration energy, and when you've been on a long, solitary, inward journey, integration into the outer community, the outer societal constructs, can feel alienating, frightening, difficult, and but also exciting, adventurous, and welcoming, depending on the perspective that we choose to sink ourselves into, right? So the last of this Venus retrograde energy is also purging, and I think we can guarantee ourselves a much more straightforward emotional progress in the weeks to come, perhaps even a pretty radical shift in that direction, where we start feeling that things build more comfortably, more transparently, with more ease, perhaps even seeing new people, new energy coming into our lives to allow us to grow and to teach us new experiences and lessons. Of course, we are still in the influence of Mercury retrograde, until the first week of February. And so there's an introspective dynamic to a process of communication that requires upgrading, redressing, purposing. And as that retrograde started in Capricorn season and is ending in Aquarius season, I would say there's a strong emphasis on how we interact again with authority. And what challenges us in our authoritative struggles. How somebody else's voice of authority drowns out our own inner knowingness and authority. How we allow ourselves to crumble, how we allow ourselves to step up. Whether we lose ourselves in that process or we integrate a greater sense of self-knowledge and therefore less doubt, less discomfort, less triggering. And I'm starting to say, as we're talking about all this, I'm starting to understand what all these cards that I have in front of me actually mean, because it wasn't so much that it seemed disjointed, it just seemed as though it was a very broad range of constructs here in front of us. And so now I'm seeing that we have a process in front of us helping us to re-emerge as more emotionally sound beings in order, unhindered by all of our inner voices in rebellion, in retaliation, in defense against the authoritarianism, the egoic struggles that others have manifested that have caused our pain body to be re-triggered or injured, whatever it may be in your particular set of circumstances. Of course, that's why I try to speak in broad terms, is because we're all having our individual unique processes take place, but there's a commonality in terms of the energy of challenge to these deeply wounded egoic constructs that do not serve us in our on our journey toward enlightenment. And when I say enlightenment, think about what enlightenment truly is. It is becoming filled with light, right? So I feel like the Aquarius energy is a reminder that that authority struggle that we perhaps had in Capricorn season, the tug of war of understanding how much the outside has influence on us in terms of authority and how much that inner voice of authority can break the chains, and how to find a middle ground that works so that we can still function within society. And Aquarius energy is that really, sorry I'm rambling, but Aquarius energy is really now all about coming into an understanding of the fullness of our magician energy, our possibilities, our capacity to manifest, to deliver, and to recalibrate into a harmonious frequency. In spite of the noise, the disturbance, the imbalances around us. Anyway, I hope that is giving you some sense of the broader energy that we are dealing with right now. So, anyway, I'm going to get started, and I'll go in order of how I pulled these cards. So, just at the top of our reading, the energy coming to us from the Sacred Destiny cards, we have simplicity and change. Now, perhaps simplicity and change don't really seem to be so integral to one another, but of course, how we change is going to dictate how we experience any new chapter in our lives. So the emphasis being on simplicity, whatever is changing, and there will be a lot of change because of the Uranus, the strength of the Uranus energy at this present time, we have an obligation to simplify that process for ourselves. We have to find ways to clear the smoke, to clear the illusions, to clear the attachments to egoic pain that has turned into learned behavior, learned expectations. We have to let go of that, because that's essentially what the simplicity of life really comes down to, is, you know, letting go of all of the baggage, letting go of the prescribed narrative that is all that really stands between magic and prison, right? Because it's only because something has happened before that you can possibly think that it would happen again. But you are the magician, and you hold the power to make sure that it doesn't happen in the same way. But that means that all of your processes, everything that you've been working on, has to be considered and kept in simple alignment in order for that to be clear to you in the moment. Again, I honestly have to tell you that I have no idea what I'm saying right now. I'm just going with it. So let's see where that takes us. Again, a little bit more of elaboration on that same theme. Starfish Spirit is our spirit animal oracle card of the week, number 59. Open to infinite possibility. Let's hear the message from Starfish. Stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of potential. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone, to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith. For miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. When cynicism says no, Starfish Spirit says yes 1,000 times over. Are you willing to entertain new possibilities? Are you limiting your goals in order to be realistic and cutting yourself off from the power of dreaming big? Let go of your rigid beliefs about what is possible for you, and let Starfish Spirit inspire you to open your heart and your eyes to what Spirit has available to you. Now is a time to stretch beyond the familiar and unfurl yourself, for you are meant for more than you are imagining for yourself. Spirit wants the best for you and will support you in achieving whatever intention you hold dear. And that is exactly what we were just discussing, albeit from my stream of consciousness that wasn't quite as streamlined. But there's a strong emphasis in this of getting out of your own way and letting the universe work in harmony with you, and having a sense of faith in that. I mean, we're getting this similar energies coming up, obviously, because it's a more extended kind of approach anyway right now. I mean, I feel like there's not an enormous amount of crazy planetary energy at this very moment in time, and subsequently the energies tend to bleed into each other, so there's no quick resolution of one problem or one dynamic. But I do think that I sense a very strong emphasis on the idea of moving out of restriction, whatever that is. And of course we could look on the macro level of moving out of restrictions societally as a result of things that we've experienced over the last couple of years, but it's also very much on an internal level. It's really moving out of restrictions of beliefs that we abandoned, outgrew in Sagittarius season, values that we outgrew and eliminated in Capricorn season, and of course that's just focusing on what we got rid of. In their place, new beliefs were formed, new thought structures were emerged, new manifestos were developed, you know, and that's really where Aquarius comes around and takes that into the collective. So of course we start where it's a transition. We have to acknowledge what it is that we are first in order to bring that into the collective, and that's where we're at right now on this journey. So hopefully that makes it clearer as to why we have the emphasis on being open to infinite possibility, why there's the emphasis on change, but simplicity in that change too. And it goes further with our oracle energy, and I'm just going to go in the direction that it's showing me right now on the table. For whatever reason I put it down on the table this way. Where is the Sufi Wisdom card? Our Sufi Wisdom card is deal with the unexpected. That's that Uranian energy. In fact, did we have this last week? I don't even remember anymore, but it feels very familiar, so I will read it anyway. I feel like we had it at some point in the recent past, but anyway, that might just be my brain. Treat the unforeseen as a divine offering. O sudden resurrection, O boundless providence, you appear into flames to burn the jungle of thoughts. You come blissfully to free us from shackles. You appear to the destitute as divine providence. Rumi. There are times when we are deeply involved in what we are doing, and suddenly something unforeseen happens, and a wrench is thrown into our lives. Many people crumple under this unfamiliar pressure. Rumi is coming to you with a loving heart to gift you the freedom to use unexpected happenings as an offering of grace. He wants you to trust that they pour out as blessings from the benevolent and generous source from which we came. Take the unexpected as a call to be master of your own fate. When you follow your heart's guidance, your success is inevitable. You learn to respond to whatever comes. And there is that empowerment, I think, coming out of Capricorn season where, you know, we start to understand how powerful we are. How we are, you know, whether we feel trapped by rules and laws and restrictions in the world outside of us, in our work lives, in how we participate in society, whatever it may be, there's this realization as we move into Aquarius season where we understand the power that we hold within, and that those outer constructs are really just frameworks, but that our energy can't really be contained within those. We might have to find more discrete ways of expressing them. We might have to find magical ways of expressing them. But in the intangible, that is, energetically speaking, that's where our freedom lies. That's where we can transcend these restrictions, and we come into a deep understanding of that. And subsequently, when the unexpected comes our way, it's not really so much unexpected anymore, right? You kind of embrace it. You take the unexpected as being part of the journey that is going to enrich your process. And, the older you get, certainly at the ripe old age of 46, as I find myself at this moment in time, there is a sense that anything that changes is very much welcomed, because society wants you at this point on your journey to be settled, to be quiet, to start going to the back bench, to start making less noise, to allow the energy of the more malleable youth to rise, either under the influence of the matrix and its authority structure, or through their own divine inspiration that's untamed and sort of unruly and doesn't really have necessarily a very clear and solid message and purpose to it. And there's a great danger in wisdom that comes with maturity, because it's backed up by experience, especially if you're a person who's chosen to have experiences. And if you're choosing to have more experiences, then you become a threat more and more with time. So again, I don't know why I'm going off on that tangent. Somebody needed to hear that, but remember that, because that is your power. And whether society tells you that because you have wrinkles and you're no longer as sexually potent, or whatever it is that our nonsensical culture dictates, there's more freedom that comes with all of those things. Not having to conform, not having to be within the parameters of some narrow vision of something that has really no value. So that is the reemergence of Aquarian energy, of how it manifests in Aquarian energy for us, that reintegration into society. It's you're re-emerging with your own rules, marching to the beat of your own drum, but with a goal to be a part of the collective, right? The oracle here is to support you in connecting with your inner truth. See and treat the unexpected problem as an opportunity in disguise. Use your initiative to grasp how you can cope under pressure. Let it develop your leadership skills. By trying to maintain a positive attitude even in the face of adversity, you will have faith in yourself that you will be ready for things to change at any time. Dear one, life has offered you everything with open hands. Accept the gift and grow into the depth of the alluring mystery that pursues you in every moment of your life. To give up and let go of the path in the face of complications is the result of a lack of faith. Surrendering into the arms of mystery is the remedy you have been chasing through your dreams. Dare to surrender to the ups and downs of life and know that a glory greater than paradise awaits you. Mantra: I remain calm and in control of myself when the unexpected occurs. I know that dealing with the unforeseen is a bliss offered to me as divine providence. And in reading that, may I also remind us once again of what these cards now become in terms of context around that. Simplicity and change, right? Now it makes sense why those cards were crowning our reading. At the very center of our oracle cards, and I know the oracle cards are starting to take up a lot of time, but that's fine because tarot tends to be much more self-explanatory. We have manifestation, The Sacred Power reading cards tend to be a little bit more archetypal from a psychological perspective, so let's see what the wizard represents to us in manifestation. The wizard is a symbol of magic and manifestation. Again, this is all about that, right? That empowerment versus the authority constructs, etc., etc. Symbol of magic and manifestation, whose power is activated harmoniously through the mind and heart. Bridging humanity with the world of spirit, the wizard borrows the power of the universe to direct and enhance energy to a specific task, healing, or outcome. A wise wizard is loving, spontaneous, and transparent. With intelligence and an open heart, the wizard is able to help all people, himself included. The wizard does this by harnessing power that is all around him. Without expectation, the wizard allows the beauty of magic to come through him rather than trying to control and manipulate it. An open and trusting heart is a refined tool of perception. Right now, you have the power to manifest your dreams into reality. With pure thoughts and intention, you can create magic in the world all around you. Allowing energy to flow through you with ease and with purpose, you can create a magical life. Learn to share your natural gifts with others. You are here to help humanity in a positive way. Refrain from sharing your personal intentions now, as they will be easily influenced with others' distorted energy. That's why we're in that first decan, right? It's all about you figuring out who you are in the outside world, not owning that and then allowing others to influence you. That comes in the second decan, and the third, actually, really. Well, that's when they come together. Anyway, just read, Alex. Okay. You're here to help humanity in a positive way, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You have the power to create and shine your light upon the world. Examine your thought patterns and energy and amplify your intentions. Positive thought and creativity will bring you closer to your goals, one step at a time. Intentions are everything right now. Focus your intention on seeing the magic in all things, including the beauty residing in the darkness. Look towards the stars for guidance. Astrological influences are high now. Manifest the power of energetic thought and investigate alchemic practices. This will assist you in understanding natural systems such as the elements, nature, medicine, astrology, and life's synchronicities. With the right mindset, you can create and manifest anything. Affirmation: I am a conscious creator of the energy around me. My heart and mind are unified in spirit. Very nice. What do we still have in Oracle cards? Oh, we have our Soul Journey cards. We got two of these, and these kind of bookend the manifestation because they really show what the elements are that keep us out of alignment in our manifestation. So what we're letting go of, doubt, and what we're moving into, patience. And both of these concepts are very much restricted within the bounds of time and space, right? And to be in your manifestation, magician energy, you kind of have to step outside of that and trust the process, right? So let's start by reading doubt so that we know what to let go of. I release the need to know all the answers. It's impossible for the human brain to comprehend the mysteries of the universe. You are only consciously aware of the three dimensions for a reason, and that is to learn to love without the full awareness of your connection to spirit. Everyone has his or her own personal path to this awareness, and there is no right or wrong answer as long as your goal is to manifest the energy of love and compassion. The wisdom of the divine trickles into the physical dimension, and some of it will resonate with your soul and some will not. These are the signposts that guide you to your correct path. If the wisdom resonates with you and seems right, then keep it. If not, release it back to the universe. Always be aware and mindful of the insights that your spirit guides and teachers put on your path. That's definitely all very Aquarian, all of this. And as I say, I think I'm learning to appreciate Capricorn energy more, but I'm still always happy to see the end of it. Okay, patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. Earth has become a place of instant gratification. You must focus on the maxim, it's not about the destination, it's all about the journey. This card has come to you because you need to learn the joy of anticipation. The process of doing is so rich in lessons, but when you concentrate only on the goal, those experiences are disregarded. Life is an unfolding, and the more patience you practice, the more you will let the universal energy celebrate itself through you and bring the experiences and situations your soul requires. And that takes me back instantly to the idea of adolescence and, why do we feel so inspired and driven in adolescence where we see no limitations? We're like, oh, the whole world could be our oyster, we could do anything. Or at least that's certainly how I looked at life at that point in my life, even though I felt very restricted, as we talked about last week. So the reason for that is because anticipation is what drives everything, right? And unfortunately, I guess as we become more conditioned in adulthood, when we integrate the banality of convention, anticipation becomes a foreign concept most of the time. I mean, short of it being within the very Capricornian structured linear pattern of, let's say, for example, like French people, where they're, every year it's like the ski vacation and then the Easter holidays with the grandparents and then summer vacation at somewhere beachy or in the campsite or something, and then everything is like very regular. Again, I don't mean to denigrate that culture in particular. All cultures have their variation of that, except in America, because we worship the cult of money and work, so vacation is taboo to us here. But you know what I'm saying. I have no idea why I was saying that now. You need to learn that there is a rhythm to everything in the universe, and the more you are living with patience, the more aware you are of the lessons your soul is studying. You are on a path. There are signposts. If you're speeding down the path, you will miss the little miracles and treasures that have been placed there. And that's the second time, or third time even in this reading, I think we've had some mention of paying attention to the signposts. So I'd say that typically, Aquarian, there are these divine kind of coincidences and serendipities that we can perceive. So pay attention to that, see what you are manifesting and how you can take responsibility for those coincidences and the unexpected things that perhaps, unexpected, we saw this like with that Sufi wisdom card, our anticipation of the unexpected is imbued with a sense of dread a lot of the time, especially recently, right? But there could be something very different. It could be beautiful. It can be a work of love, a work of enlightenment, of joy, of abandon, completely unhinged. And why not, right? Okay, so I will finally get into our tarot for the week. So our underlying energy of the week, we had the Five of Cups. So what is that sorrow that you are still connected to, or that obviously you're being challenged currently to let go of. Where does sorrow still drain the colors from your life? That's the question. The star energy is also there as our underlying energy to remind us of our magical ability to be in alignment if we're doing that work. And so here's a reminder, there's your 7 chakras. You better make sure that you're taking care of all of that and that you are in temperance. You know, you need to balance all of this out. If you're feeling like this energy is still coming up in your life, it is because you're not doing this. And I know there's an ego struggle here, because the clarifier on this was the 2 of Swords. So there's an unknowingness in this. There's a sense of not being able to surrender to the circumstances. There's a sense of wanting to be in control of things that cannot be controlled, or that don't seem controllable at this very moment in time in your life. And, you know, fighting for that control blindfolded without the ability to actually know the outcome is essentially, it's like you're wrestling with your own ego. It may mirror in a relationship with somebody else or with an authority figure or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's within yourself. And that's because you're not in the star energy. So the message of the underlying energy is let go of the sorrow, let go of the ego struggle, do yourself a favor and balance out your 7 chakras. Do the spiritual work, right? Again, simplicity, change, tempering the doubt with patience, manifestation, deal with the unexpected, be open to infinite possibility. There's a lot of possibility, there's a lot of positivity here. But it is a little bit about perception, also very Aquarian. Our past energy, and again, I knew this would happen. We've got the 5 of Wands, another egoic boundary struggle, the need to enforce boundaries, that feeling of disempowerment as we've gone through Capricorn, dealing with what authority is, what the structures of rules and laws and what we abide by and what our moral compass is and blah, 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 blah. This has led to us being entrapped in a form of endless need to define those boundaries in our lives, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it actually ends up being a process of cutting our nose off to spite our face, because we prevent ourselves from evolving and embracing infinite possibility. Well, the Knight of Swords came in to basically eliminate that. That's a mental process. Some kind of experience has given us the ability to move beyond those boundaries. We get the 7 of Wands in return. I mean, upside down, that's what I'm trying to say. Apparently I'm literally like having bizarre, like, I don't know, I didn't, just go with it, right? 7 of Wands is the post-victory what am I saying? Defense of boundaries, holding on to our power, our authority, needing to reinforce that. Again, falling into the egoic. It's a natural process, of course. We have to defend our boundaries. We have to define our boundaries. We have to live in truth and respect of our boundaries. But at the same time, there's a quiet boundary process, as we used to talk about a lot, and then there's a very loud kicking and flailing kind of energy of mess. And that's not where we want to be. And we don't want to be in disharmony with everybody, and we don't have to be. And that's what this is telling us. clarifier on it was judgment. So again, divinely planned, this whole process. I don't know how that's been in your life, but I can certainly relate to it because it's been an endless struggle for me to figure out how, where I'm in out of alignment with other people. And that's not saying that I should be in alignment with them. Sometimes it's like I'm out of alignment because I have different values and I feel that my values are right for me, but there have been divinely placed challenges that have forced me into patience, into gratitude, into working through doubt, into dealing with the unanticipated, the unexpected, into also figuring out whether I'm deluded when I see infinite possibilities, when there's some person that I want to open my heart up to and I don't even know if they have any commonality with me, but I still believe in the possibility that even if it doesn't manifest into what I want it to manifest into, it will manifest into some other thing, or it will lead to some other thing. All of these things become purposeful when we stop restricting ourselves within, there are boundaries and then there are boundaries, and we'll get to that. But anyway, in our present energy, what's coming up right now for us in this week, we have, again, the Judgment card. Very nice to have that carry through. So it's a strong emphasis that we're being very, very divinely guided. And in typical Aquarian fashion, kind of being thrust into the understanding of our belonging and how we fit into that. We have the Knight of Cups energy. Knight of Cups, again, I cannot get into mundane predictions about people or energies of romantic love, or, because if you want it, you'll find it. If if you're not finding it, it's probably because on some level, even if you think you want it, you don't really. That's the truth. You gotta be honest about how things show up in your life, right? However, a full cup being offered by the Knight indicates that we're moving into a period of time with divine judgment of finally letting relationships develop in our lives that serve our growth and evolution and our harmony, and feeling assimilated, feeling integrated, feeling it in our heart rather than just up here. The boundary energy of that 5 and 7 of Wands, slain by the Knight of Swords, is exactly what we don't want. We don't want to be in that energy anymore. That's Sagittarius, that closed out, It's very, very in alignment with the chronological flow of the zodiac wheel, so I love it when I see that in a reading. We don't get that too often. Clarified by the 8 of Cups. So again, this is about emptying your cups of the things that don't serve you. All the bitterness that comes with all those boundaries, all the judgment, all of the certitudes of things gone awry in the past, and well, that was real, that was my experience, so it must be that way. Well, until you change your perspective on something, that is all it can be, But this is a gushing, flowing energy of a love vibration coming in to push us to walk away from these heart restrictions, these emotional restrictions, these conditionings from past relationships, past pain, past disappointments, etc., etc. So it's very beautiful to have that at the center of our reading. our future energy, we have, or outcome should I say at this point, Four of Pentacles in reverse. So as a result of opening ourselves up emotionally and allowing new experiences in, we stop holding on to the limitations in our material realm. We stop holding on to the idea that what we have is all we deserve and all we're going to get, and therefore we just hold on to it. And we start being willing to take risks, to move outside of our comfort zone, because you can't gain anything unless you're willing to lose what you have. That's simply just the law of nature, right? So this, when we feel emotionally harmonious, we don't have this feeling of the need to restrict ourselves, right? In that way. The Death card pretty much confirms that as a result, this is going to cause a pretty big transformation in our lives. And bizarrely, it was clarified by the Six of Cups. So the only way that I can look at this is that what we let go of in letting go of the Four of Pentacles is our attachments to nostalgic value. It's our attachment to the idea that something of the past was somehow superior, or it's no longer attainable, that it belongs to a time and a space, that it belongs to the inner child only and not to the inner adult. And that transformation of moving outside of the inner child voice being the predominant voice that decides how we embrace manifestation, how we interact with the universe. It's no longer driven from an adolescent or childlike voice. It's driven by an emotionally responsible, when I say emotionally responsible, I mean towards yourself, an emotionally responsible, magical, fully embodied human spirit. We also got the Strength card, which is Leo energy, as a clarifier on that. So there is an understanding that the inner strength is somehow setting us free from all of this restriction, all of these limitations that we put on ourselves, all of this, the fallout from past poverty consciousness. I have one, sorry, my little baby sleeping there. No, didn't disturb you. Enzo's fast asleep on the couch. Very different energy from last week. The Two of Swords in reverse is our Osho tarot card of the week. So I will read the card and then we will have to contextualize it as a reversal. In other words, do the opposite of whatever the card is telling you. Well, usually it's more subtle than that. We'll figure it out. I'll hold it upright for you. So it's what's coming to an end in this process that we've just described. The person on this card brings a new twist to the old idea of getting stuck between a rock and a hard place. But we are in precisely this sort of situation when we get stuck in the indecisive and dualistic aspects of the mind. Should I let my arms go and fall head first, or let my legs go and fall feet first? Should I go here or there? Should I say yes or no? And whatever decision we make, we will always wonder if we should have decided the other way. The only way out of this dilemma is, unfortunately, to let go of both at once. You can't work your way out of this one by solving it, making lists of pros and cons, or in any way working it out with your mind. Better to follow your heart if you can find it. If you can't find it, just jump. Your heart will start beating so fast that there will be no mistake about where it is. Man is split. Schizophrenia is a normal condition of man, at least now. It may not have been so in the primitive world, but centuries of conditioning, civilization, culture, and religion have made man a crowd, divided, split, contradictory. But because his split is against his nature, deep down, somewhere hidden, the unity still survives. Because the soul of man is one, all the conditionings at the most destroy the periphery of the man. But the center remains untouched. That's how man continues to live. But his life has become a hell. The whole effort of Zen is how to drop this schizophrenia, how to drop this split personality, how to drop the divided mind of man, how to become undivided, integrated, centered, crystallized. The way you are, you cannot say that you are. You don't have a being. You are a marketplace, many voices. If you want to say yes, immediately the no is there. You cannot even utter a simple word yes with totality. In this way, happiness is not possible. Unhappiness is a natural consequence of a split personality. So, undo the schizophrenia, which is all just conditioning, right? And I think we'll all have to go and sit and contemplate that one, because I'm not entirely sure, like, how, I mean, I do kind of know what that duality is right now in life, so, oh, my baby munchkin, look at you, you're so handsome. Okay, I think that's all we have, right? I mean, it's 52 minutes. I really do, I'm intrigued to see how this will manifest, and, you know, I do feel that there's a very solid, strong need to let love in, and of course I don't mean anything other than what that means for you, because love is everything, and it can manifest in any which way you want. So, you know what, be open, be free, be patient, quieten your doubt, simplify things, prepare for change nonetheless, embrace the unexpected as a divine offering. We've got the Judgment card twice in this reading, so clearly there's a strong emphasis on that, right? So manifest away.